Hello and welcome to another episode of Laptop Retrospective. And no, I am not zoomed in, this laptop is just really this big. What we actually have here is a Sony VAIO, and this one will roll off your tongue, SVE17 1E13W. So, all that to be said, for those of you that are recently joining the laptop search or learning more about laptops, Sony made a brand of laptops called the VAIO. Up until the year 2014 when they kind of had enough and pulled out of that market. They had a series of different lineups of laptops from your more budget-conscious machines like the SVE and all the way up to considerably more premium configurations. This one is pretty much top tier of what you would expect to find on the SVE line, and it is actually boasting a, moderately respectable amount of features. So we're going to quickly dive into the specifications of this specific one. It is an i7-3632QM. Currently, it is operating with 8 gigabytes of RAM, an AMD Radeon 7650M, so it can do some, light gaming and all that for the year it was made. However, these were also configured on the low end of the spectrum as well as you would expect with a budget laptop. So the lower end ones tended to come with the i3-3120M, and of course they were bundled with the HD 3000 graphics that was integrated into that CPU. That being said, the keyboard is spacious. The screen is a wonderful 17.3 inch 920 by 1080 panel. I can't even fit it in my film space. It is that huge. And you know what? If you can find one of these things, they weren't tremendously popular, it's a pretty decent buy. If you can get it, I would say no more than, $500. If you're paying more than that, you could probably do a little better. Spare parts for these are hit and miss. That's in fact most of the listings that you'll see on eBay. Finding complete units is not what you would call common, but they're not super rare either. Let's do a quick tour of the machine, some of its features, and then we'll do just a very quick disassembly to show you where the main upgradable parts are located. So we do have a backlit keyboard that is essentially with a wake feature. So the backlight will turn off unless the keyboard is actually pressed, which is kind of an interesting feature. You can probably turn that off in software, but I do not currently have all of the specialized software that the VAIO came with. Speaking of which, if you look at the top of the keyboard, there are 3 specific buttons that are tied to that software. The web button works without it. It'll launch the default browser, but the other 2 are non-functional. If we tour the bottom of the machine first, we have a series of indicator lights as well as 2 card slots, one for SD cards, the other for Sony's proprietary Pro Duo cards. So if you happen to have one of those kicking around for whatever reason in the year 2019, some people still use them, it's there. So if you've got like a PS Vita or a PSP and you're doing some memory swap or enthusiast work, you might find that particularly handy because you wouldn't need to use an adapter. If we go ahead and take a look at the left-hand side of the machine, we will see the power plug, our network cable, VGA, HDMI, USB 3.0. We have a separate microphone and headphone jack. And then located on the opposite side of the machine, known as the right-hand side, we have 3 USB 2.0 and an optical drive along with the Kensington lock slot. And along the back we have absolutely nothing. Let's go ahead and talk about serviceability. So if we flip the machine over without hitting the camera, which would be great, we can easily remove the battery. There is a 1 lock, 1 release. The battery lifts up and out. This particular battery is a 4,000 milliamp or 44 watt hour stick battery, so it's not going to give you an incredibly long battery life, especially if it's powering a 1080p panel. You could get them with less, but why? Our upgrade bays are pretty much staring us right in the face, so we're going to go ahead and pull out our toolkit and take a look at those right now, since the battery has been disconnected. Over here, we have what should be the RAM access cover, and I'm not disappointed. We have 2 slots of RAM just saying hello right there, easily removed with clips. Nothing super interesting going on over there. If we turn our attention to the bay over on the left, we have ourselves a hard drive caddy. The caddy is held in place with a single screw in the bottom right-hand corner. The drive can be pulled back and removed from its caddy. This particular unit is rocking a Western Digital Blue 750 gigabyte mechanical hard drive. And by the way, if you're getting one of these, I would strongly recommend upgrading this to a solid state. I found the boot time to be somewhat lacking. So in terms of the immediately serviceable parts, that is essentially what you're looking at. You can remove your optical drive with this screw here. But beyond that, you're taking the entire case apart to service other components. And there is not a whole lot to service. This machine, as far as I'm aware, was not socketed. So there's not a whole lot to find on the inside. But the main parts that you would want to upgrade to get a little bit more life out of this machine are easily accessible. So we'll go ahead and start up this unit and just give you an idea of what it might be like if you're looking, or more likely you find one of these and you're like, hey, what is that? One of the major complaints that was had over this particular line of laptop is that the cooling was not stellar. You will find that the fan pretty much runs non-stop while this machine is even in idle. So if you're looking for something that is quiet, this will not necessarily be it. This was very much designed to be a budget desktop replacement. It's a 17-inch screen. The boot time is adequate. Put a solid state in that. Like, don't mess around with that mechanical stuff anymore. Not in the year 2019. But other than that, the trackpad is a good experience. The keyboard is good. It is pretty much an entirely plastic machine, but it is made by Sony, so even Sony at their worst is better than some other manufacturers at their best. That being said, all things considered, you are still going to get approximately 2 hours of battery powering a screen like this. Like, this is not a machine that was designed to be mobile, take it with you on campus or school and, you know, leave the charger at home. That's not happening. The charger for this thing illustrates, I think, rather appropriately how much power that this machine expects to have on a daily basis. So with that being said, if you are coming across a machine that is a VAIO and it is from the SVE line, it's not a bad unit. It is very average. If you were buying this new the year that it came out, which I believe was right toward the end of the VAIO line's lifespan, then yeah, it may have been a little bit on the expensive side, but now with the used market, these machines are very comparable to a lot of other budget-conscious choices out there. So if you do happen to come across one and the price is right, they're actually not too shabby. I was unfortunately not able to find a lot of information on Sony's website or any other that listed all the technical configurations that these machines were shipped in. If you happen to have that information or even have access to a copy of a service manual, which again I could not find, then I would love to hear from you in the description down below. I did do my due diligence with the research on this video, but I found myself coming up short, so maybe I wasn't looking in the right places, or maybe you know something that I don't about how I should be searching for information on these machines. And that might seem like a cop-out to any new viewers, but our community here is a small and dedicated and very knowledgeable one, and I am not afraid to understand that they will probably know a little bit or a few pieces more of information about this machine than I do. At any rate, if you would like to join that conversation, please feel free to do so in the comment section down below. If you're looking to get a little bit more involved with the channel, and I would certainly love for you to be a part of it, I'm going to leave the big 4 right here. Please like the video, share it, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so when a new video comes out, and there should be some coming quite soon, that you are the first person to know about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.